Hello and welcome back to this post commentary of the world record run that happened on the 19th of July 2022. Part 2 of 3 I mentioned. Uh, Here it's just going to be talking about kind of the mid game of the run. So like early hard mode, I guess early to mid hard mode. And we left off just beginning to mine the hard mode ores, which we got after we smashed the altars. These could be pesky to find. If you ever run into a spelunker pot, you definitely want to hold on to at least one when you get up to this part. But what we're looking for is 54 palladium ore and 40 mithril. We need 54 palladium ore for the palladium drill, which will allow us to mine the mithril. I should also mention, you should have a mining potion on you. That will help speed up things with the molten pickaxe. Just a good habit. Thing is with drill, it doesn't gain, even though it doesn't gain, I guess, benefit from the mining potion, it's still faster than the pickaxe. The only way the pickaxe is faster is if you have a food buff along with the mining buff. But yeah, the drill costed 18 bars, and the anvil is going to cost 10 bars. The anvil is pretty crucial because that's where you craft your main, I guess, weapon for the run, as well as the boss summons that you need to fight. So, yeah, very important. And right here, it looks like I'm just missing one, which is annoying, but not too big of a deal. We got out of there at 38 minutes and around 47 seconds. And this next step is to fight the destroyer, and I choose to go to that desert because it's very low. And the reason why I want the destroyer setup to be low is so that I could use it to farm lenses. And I need lenses for the mechanical eye. I need 3 of them to be exact. If I build the setup too high, I'm gonna get harpies spawning instead of eyes, and that's not what I want. So when building the setup, I do a little bit of a spawn platform here. Not too far off the ground, but not too close, so that the destroyer will just own me. And yeah, basically be same distance up from the chest, or from the platform to the chest, as in souls. Then I kind of build a little box here to protect myself. Not sure if it's probably not really necessary, but I like to be extra safe, as well as the walls. Background walls will prevent wyverns from spawning if you're too high up. Here, I can't really tell if I'm high up. I kind of just have to YOLO it. Thing is, with bosses, they kind of reduce spawn rates on their own, so I need to have a battle pot and a water candle if I want enemies to start spawning. And here, yeah, this is just basically a fight. Kind of just throw dynamite while the mechanical worm desperately tries to attack me. As you could hear, there are some enemies dying below, as well as some eyes kind of circling my position at the moment. I would have preferred to kill them in the explosions, but not really much you could do about that right now. But getting lens is absurd in this game. The wiki I believe says it's one in three, but let me tell you, it definitely does not feel like one in three. People have gone like 10 eyes without one lens. It's just ridiculous. But here I get very lucky, um, obtaining 3 lens, which is all I need for the run. And with those hallowed bars, I got a very insane roll. With mech bosses, I believe the least you could get is 15. I got the most, which was 30. So I was able to craft myself a hallowed helmet and a hallowed repeater. The helmet is beneficial for ranged, so that's why I opted with that. Here I am constructing myself a bed so I could sleep uh, until the third night. In this run, I was not fast enough, but if your souls and ore mining and your wall time is really good, if all those are really good, then you could probably be fast enough to to kill all the mechanical bosses on the second night, which is probably the next big I guess uh what do I want to say, roadblock milestone that runners should go for. I placed a little crafting table, my mithril anvil and piggy, as well as a water bottle, just to have all my crafting set up while I sleep for night. But because I could do all this menuing and crafting and let time pass as if I were sleeping. One thing I should mention, you'll want to at some point move the nurse in this house, which you originally put the guide in. Um, since your spawn point is going to be just below the nurse, you could just easily heal when you recall. So that's kind of why we have that house. And that's why it looks the way it does. If you're lucky and you have Dryad here, I'm not sure if I get Dryad. Um, you could buy pumpkin seeds from her. And if you place those and let it grow while you're sleeping for mechs, if you craft those into pumpkin pie, which are like 10 pumpkins each, that's a tier 2 food buff for 8 minutes, which is really good. I think that's probably what I'm going to do. First, I opt to build more houses for some more NPCs, because I will be needing the arms dealer, which I'll explain in a bit. Now with these, I could just put strips of walls instead of actually filling them in, because what I could do is I could move pre-existing NPCs in, and then let the new ones move in to the fully walled houses. So it's still I guess a sufficient chance for them to move in. Here I kind of build upstairs for convenient hooking during the fight. um, yeah, synergizing the hook with the Featherfall potion is definitely something that you're going to want to master as a speedrunner of this category. I'm even able to buy things while I sleep and even move NPCs. But yeah, I'm going to need those actuators, those wires, for a actuation rod, which is going to help me out when I get to the Lazar Temple. Basically, I'll be making an actuation rod, which will allow me to go through not walls, but blocks by actuating them. I also bought those junction boxes because you could just place those in midair without needing any connecting blocks, which you could use to place platforms. So basically, you could bypass the need for rope or any block that will, I guess, let you place it in midair. That will be used for pillars. In slot 1, I have my recall. Slot 2, um, I should have my uh, repeater there. I don't really need the drill, but uh, and in slot 3, I have my repeater. Uh, Slot 1, I could just easily click the 1 key to recall if I get low health. Here I'm buying arrows to craft craft Icar arrows. Those are the main arrows we use for the run. Very OP. Icar, I guess, drops defense by 15 when applied. Definitely a good item. Here I spot another gold bird, which I don't technically need if I don't die, but I couldn't resist, so I just kind of got it. Okay, so prime first. You want to be aiming for the head, while also avoiding the attacks here. Probably the one of the harder fights to get down your first try. Luckily I have 300 health going into this fight, so I could take a good amount of hits before actually needing to heal. But yeah, usually you want to hook kind of up and around so you're able to have a clear line of sight to the prime head. Yeah, the reason we don't use any piercing arrows is because we want to keep applying the Icar constantly. Icars naturally also have fast speed to them. There I had to use a recall to heal. And yeah, it looks like he's about to be toast. Archery potion and the Ranger emblem definitely synergize well. Here I got another absurdly lucky roll. Another 30 bars from a mech boss, which is the maximum. I crafted leggings because leggings give you 7%, I believe, increase in damage output versus the chest plate, which is critical strike chance. So I wanted more damage output. The reason I'm doing twins now and not before Prime is because I have more DPS now with the leggings for this fight, so it's gonna go faster than if I were to do twins first. And since the Prime fight is not as long as twins, you're gonna have more DPS applied over time if you do it. If you do twins now, you want to target Retinazer first. I was able to take him out with sort of ease. He could get scared during phase 2. You definitely want to keep your distance. With Retinazer, you can kind of just chill out for a bit because he just hangs in the air. And then here, I'm able to just block myself in and build 2 little shooty holes, I guess. Because this is all he does. He just like goes up and then goes to the left. Doesn't really charge at you. Very easy. NPC's helping me out there. And yeah, there's the primes fight. Prime fight. I meant mechs. I just preemptively place dungeon brick there in case I want to move nurse, which I believe I do during the cultist fight. But yeah, now is where I just sleep for Plantera. Thankfully, in the patch that they're coming out with, 1.4.4, they're going to have a guaranteed bulb spawn immediately after you kill the last mechanical boss. But for now, in this patch, I have to sleep. I have to let time pass for even a chance for bulb to be there. Um, Here I just craft a cooking pot, just 10 iron bars for a golden delight. I should mention, when during the early game, when you're finding gems and bombing them and mining, whatever, you should be on the lookout for iron ore as well, or lead ore. That's also another crucial ingredient. You're gonna need that for the prime. I keep saying prime. I meant mechanical boss summons, as well as the actuator rod. And if you get a food buff or a gold critter, then you're gonna need a cooking pot as well, which is an additional 10. Uh, an additional 10 bars. I believe I sleep till noon, day 4. Just checking if I got everything set up. Gonna obviously want more dynamite in case I need to blow up large or kind of do elevator in search of bulb, but uh won't need to do that for long. Now, if you're just starting off, you're probably gonna want to sleep till day 5 so you could buy a jetpack from the steampunker. But for top players, we kind of just want to go as soon as possible, so we don't stick around for jetpack. So yeah, things I'll need: dynamite. Make sure my wood supply is good. I guess I'm going off. I sell the remaining mech souls and 10 hollow bars. I don't really need them. Um, Plus, they give you a good amount of gold, so you don't need to worry about that. Here I build additional NPC houses because I still need the arms dealer to move in. I also need to be on the lookout for bullets. Uh, for arms dealer to move in, you need either a gun, some sort of gun, or bullets, and I have neither. And then I think the stair is causing trouble there. But yeah, and then I just move in the NPCs here to give the chance of the other one spawning or moving in. But yeah, definitely uh okay, well here's the food that I'm talking about. It's good to have. I only buy 3 because I already have Golden Delight, which I should have used right now, but I think I used the burger first, so I'm just waiting for that. Both are tier 3. Here I just kind of YOLO a TP pot, teleportation potion, and it takes me straight to the jungle, which is where I need to be. Very lucky. And using dynamite to, of course, get me moving around the jungle. I was gonna say earlier, kind of forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, feather falls. So those are like kind of an essential item. I mentioned that they're very important in the first video. Um, Basically, you're using feather falls like just mainly during the boss fights here in hard mode because that mobility is important, especially without jetpack. And you don't want to be just like hopping around like some pre-hard mode player when you're fighting Plantera. Checking this beehive so I could see the surroundings if bulbs spawn. The Plantera's bulb has a distinct pink glow to it. Um, Yeah, so just making the effort to look for it. And at the same time, I want to also be thinking about the Lizard Temple. So if I find either or, I'm happy. If I find the Lizard, which I just did, I'll opt to search around that because I want Bulb to be as close as it can to the temple. It's not like searching around affects anything, but if I find it, and it's there, uh, it's really good because they're close together, so I don't need to travel as far. Picking up some feather falls from these chests. Definitely still a good idea to loot. Don't really need the wizard. No luck yet, so just continue dynamiting. Rail systems are good. We could cover a large distance and see all the surroundings at once. Unfortunately, this one doesn't really lead anywhere. But definitely keep on the lookout for rails if you want to find Bulb quickly. And right there, I get really lucky um, and find a Bulb right there. So I immediately need to start preparing an arena to fight this thing. So I'm just blowing up kind of a medium-sized area. You'll see what the arena looks like. But yeah, a lot of the times you're just dealt a bad hand at this point. Uh, we have a guy who just like keeps resetting during this point because it just doesn't spawn or like he can't find it. Uh, and he's very fast. He keeps getting mechs killed on the second night, so it's very unfortunate uh, that this Bulb is this way and just doesn't spawn often. I have a surprise mimic there, which gives me a star cloak. That's good because as you take damage, stars will fall, which is more DPS. But yeah. Before you fight Plantera, I should mention you want to have at least, if you're starting off, maybe 300 health. But generally, probably 260, maybe even 240. Probably get away with 240. Uh, there's going to be some tanking involved. Right here, I use my archery, I use my golden delight, 48 minutes, and I just YOLO. Of course, use the featherfall as well. So I have a platform here to help me hook onto, giving me upwards momentum. And phase one, I'm just kind of circling around, taking care to avoid getting hit, kind of not doing such a good job. Luckily, the full Hallow set, due to my luck with the bars, hollowed bars, lets you dodge an attack when you get the, I guess, effect. Now for phase two here, you kind of want sort of like a elevator setup. You don't need it, but it's good to have. So you could just go down. And if you go down slowly, Plantera will also kind of move slowly. I know it doesn't look so apparent here, but yeah, like you could kind of just go down the elevator slowly. One strat you could do is at the bottom you could recall, making sure that you have a bed, so a spawn point set up at the top of the elevator thing here. I was close to dying here. It was kind of sloppy but quick. Just glad I got it done. Surprise tortoise there. Right now, my next objective is to breach the temple walls, and I could do that with the actuators. One problem. I do not have myself an actuation rod. Um, I am short 4 iron bars. So I'm here, I'm just frantically looking for lead bars. This is why you should prioritize iron or lead in the early game so you don't have to do this. Um, but yeah, I'm trying to just get myself an actuation rod. Alright. Luckily, I also have enough for an anvil. You do need an anvil to craft it. Get the wire cutters to disable the traps inside. And we're off. Good use of smart cursor to actuate these. You could either approach from the side or the very bottom, like in the golem area, or like the Zard altar area. Either way works. Either way, you're going to want to pick up a fuel set, or what is it called? It's a summon for the golem. It's like a battery cell or something. Forget the name. Power cell, probably. Here I block off the entrance from whence I came. Killing these lizards. Also checking to see if there's any wooden spikes, because if you run into those during the golem fight, it could be a pain in the ass. They do a lot of damage, so you want to make sure you block them off or blow them up. Placing additional ground here so I don't go so high that an enemy spawns and annoys me. Grenade launcher has good DPS on golem here, so I like to use it very early. Also, it does multi-hit, so... But you also have to keep your distance because it does do self-damage if you're too close. And you don't want to go too crazy with it, because the more you damage Golem and the more you damage these fists, the faster his attacks get. So you want to make sure you take care of the hands first. So, yeah, with Golem, you just got to keep it calm and collected. Also, unbound the wizard for extra meme DPS, which is good. Okay, so around, like, I guess a little past half health, we'll start shooting lasers here. Full health, definitely very nice to have. If you don't get it, you probably want to fight B just so you can make a B chest plate. That gives you a +1 summon, which you'll later need during pillars. And nothing else to do. Somewhere in between there, I got the arms dealer, and I'm able to buy stingers as well as unholy arrows. The stinger I got pretty lucky with. There's a lot of, luck that happened with me. But what's important is the unholy arrows. You need the arms dealer for unholy arrows, which he sells all the time during hard mode. And you'll see why once we get up to pillars. I suppose we'll pause it after cultist. But yeah, let me see if there's anything else I need to explain. Not really. Oh, yeah, I did try to YOLO another teleportation potion. Luckily, it took me, I guess unluckily, but It took me too low to be of any practical use, so just traveling the manual way using my hook. And what you'll see here coming up is a kind of a cheese setup for lunatic cultist. So what we used to do is we kind of just used to just YOLO the fight and, you know, I guess sweat it out. And now we recently just came up with a setup to have Nurse here. Thanks to Dungeon Brick mainly. So we could just keep healing every time we take damage, while also blocking some of his attacks. If it were daytime, this is where Dungeon Brick would come into play. But thankfully it's nighttime, so I don't have to worry about that. Here I'm just blanking out, I suppose. Can't really get it to work, so I kind of just say screw it, I'll make regular walls. I think it was one block too long. This could have been a faster setup, but yeah. Definitely, if you're starting out and you want to use this, do this after you beat Skeletron. Skeletron also needs to be defeated for the cultists to spawn, but after Skeletron, definitely set something like this up, so you don't have to waste time when you're so close to ending the run. There, I just use unholy arrows to kill them all at once, and then I'm able to just shoot upwards without having to move. And make a little hole here. I should have blocked myself off here because having that possessed armor be a nuisance. There I hesitate a little bit, but in reality, if you're just staying straight and you're just shooting straight upwards, you could just keep shooting up. You don't have to worry about him being to the left or right of this sort of triangle pattern they make. See, like that. If you don't have a cobalt shield, then you probably just want to hook yourself to the ground. If that doesn't make you bounce around. Phase 2 is where you take most of the damage. So that's where you definitely want to keep an eye on your health. We're coming up on pillars here, so I think I will pause it. Yeah. So that's part 2. If you made it this far, thanks a lot for watching. Next part 3 will just no, won't be so long. I'm gonna be explaining pillars and Moonlord. I don't think I do all bosses in this, but I don't think that's really necessary to explain. Yeah. Thanks a lot for watching.